This is my baby girl. That's so sweet. She's my baby girl. She's 9 months old. She's a little Maine Coon. And she brings me lots of joy. Doesn't? She's got this big old fluffy tail. What a tail! Ain't she hiding? Doing so hard. Alright, let's fix this so we can see you, pretty little face. There she is. She's hiding. Sweetheart, people want to see your pretty face. Yeah, can you scratch your chins? She loves this part. She's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. We don't know who her daddy was, but he was handsome because she doesn't look anything like her mama. No, you don't look anything like your mama. Your mama's solid black. And she's what's called a black smoke Maine Coon. Just a sweet arms. And she my sweetheart. She is one of those gifts from God that just makes you feel really good. Don't you, darling? She knows I love her. And I think she loves me because she likes to come in on the bed and snuggle right up next to me. Don't you, darling? She's being bashful. She's usually not bashful. Are you bashful? Oh, you bashful little girl? Look at this big thing. Look at this big girl. Look at this. Look at this tail. She's got the fluffiest tail I've ever seen on a kitten. Look at this. You want it on the table? You gonna show off? She's like, no, I'm just gonna walk around. Yeah. She likes to be in here where I do my work. And it's one of those little, like I said, little gifts from God that it just brings you joy. And Lord knows I've needed some joy this year. But fur gets on my face. But, you know, everyone goes through loss. Everyone goes through grief. Everyone goes through depression in one level, way, shape, or form. And I'm no different. And Lord knows I've had my share of depression and whatnot. But when she was born, she had a brother. And out of the two of them, she was the one that, and funny, normally they open two eyes. And she opened one eye at a time. And she was the first one to do so. And when she opened that one eye, she looked right up at me, and that stole my heart. So I don't know what anyone else uses to go through and deal with and survive those feelings of that deep, dark place that you don't ever want to go. But it could be a hobby. It could be anything. But if you have a tough time of life, like that's called a valley. We have to go through our valleys and go through our mountains. Mountains are the high points where we do real well, and valleys are the low points. And I have more valleys, I think, than high points. But that little fur ball right there, she gives me a smile every bloody time. I don't have family around. My family is all in another state. My grown children are in other cities, and now one of them has moved to another state. And we're all spread out. And so it's not like you can get that back home comfort feeling. And if you're someone like that, if you don't have that back home comfort feeling, find something that brings that to you. That's how we get through these periods. I lost a parent, I lost an uncle, and I lost a pet within 4 months' time. And it's never easy. And this is real, okay? Because I know if anyone's watching this, they're going through something like this, where it doesn't matter. You could be having what you consider a good day, And then all of a sudden you see or you hear something or you see someone that reminds you of someone or something that brings you back to that spot where the pain was real and fresh. I'm no different. But there are ways to get through it. You know, they say the loss of a loved one, that the pain goes away. No, it doesn't. It gets easier. That's the truth. It gets easier. But there's certain aspects that will make it fresh and new, just like it was yesterday. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you don't give up on life, you don't give up on yourself when there's something that needs you more than what you think you need. That's the hard part. The hardest part is knowing that even though you have this pain and there's nothing that's going to take it away from you. When my uncle passed away, one of my other uncle, many years ago, when he passed away from cancer, my aunt said something that was very true. She said, I can't take the pain away from you. All I can do is be there if you need me. And that's true. You know, your pain is individual. Everyone's pain is individual. Everyone's joy is individual. There's things that would bring me joy that wouldn't bring another person joy. And there's things that other people would bring joy to them that wouldn't do anything for me. So, grief is a normal process. It sucks. I will not kid you. It sucks to grieve things. And everybody will tell you, well, just concentrate on the good times. Concentrate on the good times. But that doesn't take away the loss. We can be very selfish that way, and that's totally normal. It's nothing wrong with you being selfish about losing someone you love. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. We get attached. We have bloodlines that attach us to those who are no longer with us. But there is a consolation. And if you don't believe in it, you need to. One day, all of those that have come and gone and that we thought we would never get over the loss of, we'll be reunited with them. We will be reunited with them as long as we believe it's so. If you don't believe it, if you think the end is the end, then, you know, there's nothing I can say that would make you believe it. I know that I have had signs from those who have lost, most of them mostly to cancer. I hate that word, letter C. But there's kind of a consolation in the fact that when it's my time, I'm pretty sure I'll be the one that's going to suffer from cancer. So I know what to expect. Sometimes that's why people that we love are taken the way they are taken, is to show us this is what you can expect if this happens to you, to help you be stronger in it. The family that I had that had passed on because of cancer were strong all the way up until the end, fought it tooth and nail. And that's how I'm going to be. That's how anyone should be. Go out fighting. You know, don't, because of some illness, don't let it overtake you mentally. Don't let it poison your soul, I guess is how I'm trying to explain it. We all grieve. We all go through things. But we're also all there for each other. And that's why I do these videos. And I was remiss in doing some because I've had so much loss in my life so much lately that I just couldn't deal with it face to face with a camera. That's my weakness. You know, like anybody, you kind of like wallow in it for a little while, and then when you start to come out of it, you think you're doing good, and then boom, you get hit with another one. Well, that's what happened to me. First my dad, then my mom's baby brother, and then we had a pet, that there was nothing we could do for her. We tried, and we had to let her go. And so now we have a family member, my husband's mother. She's in the hospital. She's had issues with her heart and whatnot. So I just got my fingers and toes and everything else crossed. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do is just hope and pray. And if you don't pray, then it's a good time to start. If you're going through some major stuff, even if it's not anything to do with family loss, if it has to do with yourself, whether it's an addiction, whether it's a broken heart from an ex, that's when you pray and you ask for someone greater than yourself to give you some peace, help you find peace. Where can I find peace? I say that all the time. How can I find peace in the passing of my husband's cat? I have videos of her. She was unique. Family's the same way. Everyone's unique. You have those memories. You can just remember those sweet things. Actually did a painting way long time ago. Actually, it was about 4 years ago, right after we got my husband's cat. And it's become his endearment because it was something she used to do. She used to sit on the hearth of the fireplace and waited for him to come through the door every night after he was done work. And he loves that painting. And now he wants me to find a frame for it. And I'm going to find a frame for it. And it's things like that that help you get through the pain part, even though the pain never fully goes away. Pets are hard. Family's harder. But aren't our pets our family too? So I try to find things to not occupy my mind. People will tell you when you're grieving, well, you just need to find something to occupy your mind. You need to, go on a trip, or you need to do this, you need that. You need to do what you know you need to do. And even if you don't know what you need to do, then you sit down and you talk to yourself. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. And little bit by little bit, you find little things that actually work. And it doesn't erase it. It's never going to erase that. I mean, separation of life is final. And it's never going to be erased. And I don't want to mislead anybody and tell you, because other people will tell you, oh, it gets easier. Well, yeah, it might get easier, but it doesn't go away. For people to tell you, like, oh, you'll stop feeling like that. You never stop feeling like that, because there's something. There's always a trigger somewhere that's going to bring up a memory that makes you remember what you lost. So be realistic in grieving. Grieving is a part of depression. Depression is a part of grieving. I mean, when you're depressed, you're grieving something. It doesn't have to be a family death. You could be in depression because of your financial issues, or because there's something you want to do and you can't because of whatever reason. They're all kind of like intertwined. Those two things, depression and grief, they're all one and the same, but at different levels and different ways. So don't think that you can separate the two. A lot of people try to separate the two. Being a sufferer of PTSD, there's no way you can separate the two. I mean, even prior to that, I still had grief and depression before I even got the PTSD. Of course, I didn't realize I had PTSD when I was a kid. Turns out I did. But grief and depression are one and the same, just on a different level. So when you have people telling you it's not the same thing, they're full of it. I'm not a psychiatrist. I just know feelings. And I know emotions. I'm a very emotional person. And I guess that's why I like to share my emotion with others, so that you can see that you're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. Everyone hurts about something. Some people, everything else could be fine, but they hurt because they've been trying to, like in my case, one of my things is trying to lose weight and keep the weight off to be healthier and to be able to be more active. I pray about that all the time. It hasn't come yet, and I'm over 60 years old. So people don't understand what you're going through. Only you do, and only God does. And so since it's really hard to verbalize your feelings, your loss, your whatever's got you depressed, what's triggering you to be depressed or whatever, then why not just talk to him? Because he doesn't judge, but he's there to listen. I know some of you are going to say, oh, there she goes talking about God. No, it's not that. It's a spiritual thing. Emotions are a spiritual thing. What goes on in here is not a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. It's a spiritual thing. And that's what we have to learn to get a handle on. And even if we can't get a handle on it, at least try to understand it. And sometimes you don't understand it fully. I still don't understand some of the things, the way I think about things. And I probably never will. But I'm not going to let that stop me from trying to do something to lift myself up. The hardest thing we have in life is to keep ourselves lifted up. Because when there's no one around to give you that boost or be your cheerleader, it's hard to keep yourself lifted up. So I try to be an uplifting person, because when I help others and lift them up, it lifts me up. That's just how it is. It's kind of like the whole idea of paying it forward. Why not? If I don't need it and someone else does, then I'm going to give it to them, and I don't expect a darn thing in return. And that's the way it should be. Because when we start expecting things, that's when we get depressed. That's when we get angry. That's when we get frustrated. And that's when all the bad emotions come out. And the bad emotions are the things that make us sick. It's been scientifically proven that when you are in a down spiral or down mode, you tend to, first of all, you don't eat right, you don't take care of yourself, you do you don't do the things you normally would to take care of yourself. And if nobody takes care of you, who's left? You, yourself. You have to take care of yourself. I'm still trying to figure out how to take care of myself. But I get great joy in taking care of others. And maybe that's a way of taking care of me. Maybe caring for other people is actually a way of taking care of yourself. I mean, that's how I kind of looked at it the last several years. I've noticed that when you take care of someone else, your mood is different. Your outlook on life is different. You're no longer focusing on your inadequacies or your things that you are lacking in, or things that you don't have, things that you would want, but, for whatever reason you get preoccupied with wanting without thinking about what someone else's needs are. And we get confused about needs and wants. And if you need something, you literally need it. You need shoes on your feet to go outside and not, step on something and you cut your foot up. You need clothes. You need food. But you don't need so many clothes that your closet is like packed super full and overflowing. I just went through a bunch of my clothes and I threw them in a bag, that things I don't wear. I mean, I could keep them, but there's someone out there who could use them. So it gives me a good feeling to be able to donate that to somewhere, a clothing drive or whatever, to those who truly don't have those things and that really do need those things. So I guess in bringing this kind of like to a close on this, as far as dealing with that negative, some people call it energy, those negative feelings that bring you down, those are not unusual. They're not unnormal, because everybody goes through them. The trick to it, and it's not even a trick, it's just a way of life in general, to practice finding a worth in anything and everything around you. Like, if you can't find worth in yourself, find worth in what you can do for someone else. And then once you do that, when you do something for someone else and you see that person's face light up and they're so grateful, and then you start thinking better about yourself. So it's kind of like a, one hand washes the other. I don't even know if I'm using the right colloquialisms, but when I do things for other people, it's more about the smile on their face. And when I see that, then that makes me feel good. And I try to do more and more of that all the time. And if that's what helps you all, anyone who could possibly be watching this video, if you're in a place where you're suffering a depressive mood or you're angry about something, leave me a message in the comments and let's talk. I'm a great listener. I've always been told that. I've had people say, why aren't you a teacher? I go, because I didn't want to go to school for all those years. But if I can help anyone through this, that's basically why I do this, and for no other reason. I'm sorry for breaking apart like that, but a lot of the things that have happened in my life recently are very fresh, and that's normal, and it's okay. And if you don't want to see someone break down in tears because of fresh scars and wounds, well, then you can just, go to another channel. But please do share this video with someone if you think they need to hear what I've had to say, and have them reach out to me. I don't charge for listening, not like psychiatrists and psychologists do. And I've been told sometimes I make a lot of sense. And hopefully that's true. Because not having gone to school for psychology, I wonder about that. But I do love people. And my grandmother was always telling everybody, and my aunt, that I love everybody. And I do love everybody. And I will tell you what I think would help. And you can take it or leave it. But there's just something about helping another person that is very satisfying. And I don't expect anything in return either. So my prayers are with everyone going through tough times, including myself and my husband on his loss, and his family with his mom in the hospital. And reach out. I don't judge. And I'm here to answer any questions in case anybody's interested. God bless you all, and may peace be with you.